So here we are at the beginning of the 1703 turn. I started doing reinforcements and realized, I forgot the event cards. So I pulled some of the reinforcements off the map that maybe I didn't have, that I had more choice on. So first the Alliance draws. That's the wrong kind of card. An event card. Camisard Rebellion defeated. They have to play this, right? The Alliance player selects any French named leader. That leader is removed from the game on this turn. And that leader and one French corps return next turn. French corps is over here. And we're going to remove Vendôme because Villars does not exist yet on the board. And he'll come in next turn. Okay. And that's all that happens with that. So now the French draw one. And they get the Bank of England removed from the deck when Britain withdraws. The Alliance now gets 7 replacement points each turn, including this one. And that's all that it does. So we can mark that, our resource points, over there. And now I'll be buying reinforcements and other such things with those resource points. Allies first. This is one of the places where things are kind of ambiguous or contradictory in the rules. Reinforcement, and it's not a big deal. Reinforcements phase A and B are here in the base sequence of play, but then when you go to the reinforcements phase, it's actually the opposite. Not a big deal in this case. In some of the cases, you can use some common sense and probably come up with what the right answer is. I could see people getting into some pretty big arguments about stuff like that just because there are people like that, but in general, a little bit of thought and discussion, you should probably be able to resolve all those kind of issues. All right, let's drop the reinforcements down and then go to the campaign phase. I'll reshuffle these cards, not the ones that are in there, because I peeked at the top one accident. Well, I've already screwed something up. I looked at the rules for determining initiative. Forgot about one factor. I vaguely remembered it, but I'm reading another game at the same time. There's rules. That's another one of these CDGs, another similar type of game, but with enough differences. And this one's very different in a lot of ways. And this is one of those differences. If you have the same number of cards, each player plays a card face down. And that determines who gets to go first. The higher bidder must play the card that they played. The other player gets to return his to his hand and put it back. Only in the case of a tie in the bid for cards does this work. Well, the Allies only have one kind of card, and they're going to play that. Question here is, of course, do you want to go first? And I think the answer is probably not. I'm trying to look at the French and say, well, why do I want to go first? There's some clear reasons. I could buttress up my defenses by doing so if that were an advantage. But at this point, I don't think it is. So I'm going to reveal a 1 card. Of course, this also reveals that I have such a low card in my hand. And the Allies reveal a 2. Therefore, the Allies are going to go first, which is what was going to happen anyway. Probably last time it would have happened the same way as well. But I just wanted to clarify the rules, because I'm sure somebody's going to catch it in the earlier bit. Oh well. So opening things up, with that 2 card, I moved a set of forces into Cologne to besiege, and Marlborough down to Nijmegen. I don't know. He was unable to force the line though, and decided he didn't want to attack if that was the case. See if the French are gonna try to take Amsterdam. If they can get it and hold it with a line of control going back, they win the game. So it would be quite worth it for them, but it's risky because I've built a level 2 fortified line up there. However, it might be worth trying to chance if they can force the line taking it. So the French reinforced Villars and moved Beffleur up to siege Koblenz. In either case, they have the opportunity to react into Liege, which makes the Cologne advance kind of questionable. The Allies decided not to keep trying to push against the Nijmegen line, instead expanding into Cordoba and threatening Madrid, as well as making an attack with Aachen, which defeated these unnamed forces and sent them back to Milan. They're now demoralized, and that's going to be a problem for France. Do they want to just let the Allies have free-handed Spain and in Italy in order to take a risky shot at Amsterdam? Or do they have to react? Hard to tell. The Allied forces, British and Dutch, were driven back from Madrid. A lot of luck in the game. 3 dice rolled. 2 for the Allies, 1 for the Spaniards. Spaniards get a 6. That drives the army back, makes it much, much more expensive. It's going to take an action to undemoralize it before it can reasonably expect to win a battle again. Aachen, on the other hand, has taken Cremona, which brings the victory points back up to 7. Well, the round ends with Aachen unable to take Milan. He's got Cremona, which is cool. Villars, deciding since he couldn't take Amsterdam anyway, he swung into Bergen-op-Zoom and struck the force there. Now, he took a hit and caused something like 4, but there were only 2 units there. They can only take 2 hits. They're both halved, and they managed to do a sea escape. They could have died doing this into Amsterdam. That opens up Bergen-op-Zoom and makes it possible for the French perhaps to take that. They left the unit behind in Nijmegen. I don't know how to pronounce that, obviously. Well, but that's the end of the base part of the turn. We go to the Spanish events phase, control of Madrid. It's still French, barely. Adjust Spanish loyalty. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Bourbon have Madrid and at least 5 fortresses in Spain still. So it continues down 1. I think I forgot to note that last time. But possible Habsburg Spanish uprising. It is possible because the Mediterranean's controlled. And they have to roll equal to or greater than the loyalty track, which is now at, what, 4? Oh, that's bad news for the frogs. Okay, the 4 Habsburg spaces become alliance controlled. I think this thing gets honors of war. They get to retreat to Saragossa. They could go to Perpignan, but and the Habsburg Spanish Corps shows up here in Barcelona. So now we're seeing Spain more and more becoming a problem for the French there. And after that, we do the winter phase where we're going to see withdrawals, which most importantly will include this one. Getting us back into position. But let me see. And some of these other markers also disappear. Like the continued siege, the demoralization, etc. I'll finish cleanup and then come back at the beginning of the next turn. Okay, starting here with the 1704 turn, Portugal's entering the game. They'll be included in the reinforcements. The Allies get a command dispute. This is a hold card, and it allows them to reduce the tactical ratings of a 2-liter force. It can't be played against Marlborough and Eugene because they were like lover buddies or something. And the French get, bad for them. Savoy switches sides. All of Savoy becomes alliance controlled at this point. That's this red area here. There's no victory point change though. Any Bourbon units in there, that would be this guy, retreat to the nearest Bourbon controlled area. Oops. Well, they're cut off now, no? I don't know what that means with them going out of supply. I don't know if they'll end up retreating there. The Bourbon Savoy Corps comes out of the game, and the Alliance Corps. Here's the Savoy for Bourbon. And the Alliance ones are now going to be in the force pool available to be built. Oh. If Turin is Alliance controlled, that's not, or Lisbon is Bourbon controlled, the event does not occur. Oh. Interesting. Okay, and does this go on the board somewhere? It doesn't. This gets removed from the game, as does the Camillard one. I have to look up and see if these guys are actually forced to retreat into Milan, or, well, they can go to Finale. But they would really be in trouble in either case, just because of supply constraints. Let me see. So we're rolling into the action phase, and the Allies played a 2-card again, and the French played a 1-card again. Neither side really wanted to go first. You might ask why. I'm not sure. I just don't feel like it's an advantage to have the initiative. That forces it into the Alliance's hands here. What do we have? Well, we still have Marlborough, and now Overkirk, bottled up in Amsterdam with a lot of force, more than the French think they can handle. So they're starting to look at, we have to fight the war elsewhere, but we'll keep them bottled up there. And they've got Villars and Tallard still holding the line to prevent the English and Dutch from breaking out easily. They got some reinforcements which they played under Boufflers because he did so well in Germany that they're going to give him the Spanish command to try to save Spain. Right now Spain looks like it's really at risk. In addition, the French paid to build the Toulon fleet, and they're going to start contesting the Mediterranean. They want to try to hold the line as much as they can and try to prevent try to reduce these victory points, which they might be able to succeed in doing if they can get control of the Mediterranean a couple of times and hold the line for the most part. However, Eugen is positioned to attack Milan. Now, I had two choices. One was overstack into Finale, and the other was to remain in Milan. I chose Milan instead because even though I might get sea supply and could do a siege on Savoy because I'd have a line of communications from France, I'd rather be a bigger speed bump for Eugen. The English did not build any of the Savoyan troops, however, which might be a disadvantage here, but they looked at the situation and didn't think that the French were going to be in any good position to really take Savoy on. If they did, it would be that from this stack, and then Eugen could help protect Savoy. Over in Germany, we see the French have put a number of decent leaders in the center to try to hold and maybe even expand their territories there. All right. Let us see what can be done here. And the Allies open up with that 2-card, moving Eugen to Milan, where he defeats the French. No big deal there. They pass through Verua. They take a shot for that. 1 die roll against them as they're moving through. It's enemy territory. It didn't hurt them, so now they're back here. All their units have strength, exactly where they would have been had they just retreated there to begin with. Over here, we see the Portuguese moving into Badajoz and laying down a siege there too. Just trying to gain some territories as quickly as possible and put a threat on the French. So the Allies played a big 3 card and took Badajoz, continued, actually rolled for the first time their siege at Milan, partially successful. They reduced it by 1 more, they get it. And Marlborough went to Nijmegen and succeeded in forcing the line, played his command dispute card, reducing the Villers-Tallard combination. All looks good so far, has like 14 dice against 9 rolls. Both sides take 4 losses. Those have been attributed. Overkirk is captured. Marlborough has to retreat and is demoralized. This isn't looking good at all. The Overkirk capture. Do I want to pay a victory point, that's what it costs, to get him back next turn? Or do I want him to just come back as a minor leader again? Oh boy. See, this is such a hard call because victory points are low, they're valuable, they're important. But so are leaders. Leaders are important too. I don't have enough. I'm going to take the victory point penalty so that I can keep Overkirk. Luckily it wasn't Marlborough. That would have really hosed things. Overkirk's not a great leader, but at least, you know, it's only 1 victory point. Alright, and now Marlborough's retreating back up into Amsterdam, and Villars in good enough shape he could attack. Uh-oh. And Villars managed to not only bypass the line, but defeat Marlborough, and Marlborough had nowhere to retreat to. He, wait. Wait, he could retreat through Nijmegen. So he did a C retreat with these. The rest, it appears by the rules, can retreat via Nijmegen. And they get shot at twice. 2 hits. It's still sufficient hits for a famous victory, but Marlborough has a slightly larger force here at Bergen-op-Zoom. However, he's in a lot of trouble. He's demoralized. If Amsterdam falls and a line is available, now that line's kind of iffy because one of these could be, this could cut it. Nothing else really can. The game is over at the end of that turn. The famous victory dropped victory points down. Now we're at 4. It's getting uglier and uglier on that side. It makes it easier to siege Amsterdam. This is looking really, really bad. The Allies have 3 actions left. Maybe they can pull something off here. But certainly ideas like, let's go try to fight in Spain, or make sure we get Milan, or those have all become really, really minor concerns. Only a matter of how many cards do I have that I can use? Because, see, he can't use all of his ability in that stack. He can only really use 1 card per turn in that stack. 2 maybe if he rallies some and improves others. But he's got to get moving. Because if he's going to take this, it's got to be done quickly. So I'll probably do 1 rally action this time on that stack. Well, 2 rally actions. 1 to remove demoralization, 1 to flip a unit. And maybe something with another stack just to get it operable. Alright, we're pretty much down to the wire here. Allies have one more 2-point card. They're ready. They're going to move Marlborough in to face Villar, who's moved down to Nijmegen after having taken Amsterdam. If they can't take this away, if they can't win this battle, no, it's not sufficient. Shit. They needed to do it last move. Crap. Alright. Last move. They recovered 3 of these and a strength point. And in they go. And yes, I'm essentially cheating here because I didn't realize. Villar's moved this last time with a 1 card. We give it back to him. He gets an interception chance. He succeeds. So, the battle is going a card early. Yeah, I haven't screwed anything up. I've just rolled back time. And it's not time you've even seen. So, Marlborough's moving into Nijmegen. He has to not only move there, win the battle, but he also has to win the siege in order to cut the supply line. And we'll see whether or not that happens. Well, it didn't. Marlborough was unable to force the line. That meant all his disordered troops had no chance of hitting. And that left him with 5 dice total. He ended up getting no hits from them. 5s don't count because they get a -1 on him. Whereas Villar's got some 5 hits on him, drove him out with another famous victory. And this is essentially the destruction of the Netherlands. Whatever would happen, I would say, it's hard to tell what the peace would be at this point. Clearly, I don't think France would accept the destruction of the Netherlands. I don't think the world would accept the destruction of the Netherlands. So what would happen here? Well, certainly the Netherlands is knocked out of the war. But what's going on in Spain? Well, clearly we've got a Bourbon who's going to be accepted there. What else? Status quo? Is that it? Maybe. Maybe. Because the only real winner out of this thing, the Bourbon got Spain, and England got a number of Spanish possessions and bonuses out of the peace. No one else really got much. Would France be able to demand more? Maybe. They might be able to demand something out of Germany on this. The situation with Savoy having switched sides is not a pleasant one for them. I'm not going to play out the rest of the cards. There's no real point. The Allies... actually, I am. The Allies still have a card. They can still take one more shot at this. No, it won't do any good. Because they need to get a successful siege for this to matter. Because Nijmegen has fallen. There's really nothing they can do. And this is an automatic victory condition. The only thing they could conceivably do is if they could take Paris. That's not going to happen. So, any other options? Not really. See, nothing matters that you can do in one turn. It all requires these sieges to have things. If there was more to this game, I would be very tempted to play it again. But I don't feel like there's any promise that there's more to it. So, I don't feel like I missed all that much. I've looked at some of the special cards on the board. What about the Great Northern War? Gets rid of a subsidy corps, that's it. Yeah. I just don't see too much here. So I'm going to come back with a review, and that's about it. And, you know, obviously, most games of it wouldn't be this short. Most games of it, I'd assume, between competent players, would probably take a significantly longer time. But there's a lot of luck in this sucker. And that's how this space got taken. And then once it was taken, I'm not sure how much wasn't just luck at that point. I mean, things sort of fell into place where Marlboro wants to bust out, Villar wants to try to take it, and everything else becomes almost a sideshow in the game from that. All right, let's send this one up to you.